I would say just lining up stagnant, like how we just kind of saying, just lining up, playing defense, man to man, press corner on the backside, safety down. The scheme is too good. The offensive players that, you know, whether it's running or passing the ball are too good, and he gets to his checks. Now he's gonna fry you. You have to show it too high. Now it's on the snap, we're going to one high. Show one high. You know, on the snap, we're going to two high. Trap the corner on the backside, have him off on the snap, roll down, put the safety over the top of him. Give him something to where now he thought he seen something. He has to pat the ball, and now he has to go through his reads. Like, that's defensive scheme. Like, you can't just, like we talked about it, the scheme is too good. They're going to run the score up on you. You have to make him hold the ball for a split second and think.
Does he catch too much heat?
I think so. I watched that last playoff game versus Green Bay. I mean, we always talk about ball security. I mean, as a team, any team should talk about ball security. You know, the life of the team, whether it's on defense, you intercept the ball and you see some guys fumble and they give it right back to the offense, or the offense turning over the ball with an interception or a fumble by a guy. But I think when there are big games, of course you want your quarterback to win the game.
Yeah.
But you also need defense to take the pressure off him as well.
Couple of things there. For one, we need to give Big Mike some more credit, because right there, Jalen Mills was very complimentary of the scheme that the Cowboys are running this season. And remember, guys, this was the first season in a brand new offense for the Dallas Cowboys, and it's only going to evolve and get better next season. Number two, Jalen Mills said it himself. And remember, this guy's a former Super Bowl champion with the Philadelphia Eagles, and then he signed with the Patriots after that. Jalen Mills himself, who has no reason to cape up for Dak Prescott, has said that he doesn't believe that Dak Prescott should be getting as much of the blame as he's getting, and he thinks that Dak Prescott gets way too much heat. He said it himself. The defense has to show up. We have heard player after player after player point at the defense before they're willing to say, oh yeah, that game was on Dak. See, this is the part that people don't understand when they start talking about NFL football or just football in general. The game is not only played physically, but it's played mentally before the ball is ever even snapped. And when you have a quarterback in position that's able to make the defense change their game plan or have to adjust their game plan just based off of what they can do on a mental level, oh, you cooking. You really cooking. And that's exactly what the Dallas Cowboys have in Dak Prescott. We just heard it from Jalen Mills. But back to my point. A lot of you guys want to get rid of the MVP runner-up. A lot of you guys want to get rid of a second-team all-pro quarterback. A lot of you guys want to get rid of a guy that's able to influence the game before he even steps on the field. At some point, you have to sit back and truly ask yourself, what more can I really ask for from my quarterback? Whenever a quarterback gets to a point to where they're respected enough to where defenses are taking into account the fact that they are going to read them like a book if they don't do extra to dress it up, if they don't do extra to have to make the play look different from what it actually is. This not only affects the defense from a game planning standpoint and having to take more time to disguise their formation, disguise their schemes, disguise their looks, but it also affects the players because there's more for them to remember. Remember, a lot of these guys are creatures of routine. They're creatures of habit. They're practicing a skill over and over and over again until they become a master at said skill. Anytime the game plan causes you to have to adjust in that type of manner, where you're asking players to maybe remember one more thing than they would normally have to remember against a normal quarterback, or you're asking a player to have to get in and out of position pre and post snap, especially when a guy is manipulating his snap count and his cadence like Dak Prescott does, which is the reason he's doing that, because he's taking it even a step further, and he's not just leaving it at, oh, I can diagnose your defense, which is exactly what we just heard Jalen Mills say. He's not just leaving it at, oh, I can diagnose your defense. Now with the cadence and the hard counts and all that stuff that he's doing at the line, he's making the defense actually tip their hand a little bit. And if the defense isn't completely 100% locked in, he's going to see a weakness before the ball is ever snapped. Now, obviously, some gamesmanship can go on with some of the more experienced defenses or some of the more high caliber players that understand how to kind of counteract what Dak Prescott's going to be doing with that snap count and disguising what they're doing and then not disguising what they're doing. But 10 times out of 10, having a quarterback that has reached the level that Dak Prescott has reached as it pertains to his mental understanding of the game is always going to be an asset, and it's not something that is easily attained in a quarterback. We very rarely see quarterbacks get to a point in the game where they have mastery of the position from a mental standpoint. We see tons of quarterback dominate the game with their physical attributes. We see tons of quarterback able to be successful for a year or two at a time due to their physical attributes until that gets accounted for. We've seen it with Jalen Hurts now. We've seen it with Josh Allen year after year. We see it with Lamar Jackson every time they get into the playoffs. When a team is able to take away your physical capabilities, what's next? And that's the question that anybody that wants to replace Dak Prescott has to ask themselves. What is the next quarterback going to bring to this team that is going to overcome productivity at an extremely high level? I'm about to show you all that in just a second. That's going to overcome a mental mastery of the position, that's going to overcome the leadership and just the professionalism that Dak Prescott has carried himself with as the quarterback of the Dallas Cowboys, because handling that pressure and having to wear that starter helmet and be a quarterback is a big responsibility and is a lot of pressure, and not every person is going to be built for that. Can you imagine someone like a Ryan Leaf coming in to the Dallas Cowboys and how he would crumble under the pressure of this system? Could you imagine if the Cowboys actually drafted Johnny Manziel like they were supposed to do, like Jerry wanted it to do the year we got Zach Martin instead? Could you imagine having those kind of guys come in and having to put their star in their helmet, even though people thought that they had all this talent and they had all the skills and had all the tools in the world to be successful? But pressure is real, especially for professional athletes. What guy are you going to bring in that's going to overcome all of that, even with his physical traits? Let's say you were able to get someone that's a freak of nature and is a bigger, more sturdy, more athletic guy and has more athletic tools than Dak Prescott. There's no guarantee he's ever going to reach the mental aptitude that Dak Prescott has reached at his position. There's no guarantee he's going to be a good leader. There's no guarantee he's going to have the mental fortitude to play in this market. And a lot of you guys think that it's just going to be easy as pie to bring someone else in, when some of us have to live through the Quincy Carter years. Some of us have to live through the plethora of quarterbacks from the land of Nod that the Cowboys had to go through before they lucked up into 20 years of Tony Romo and Dak Prescott, essentially. Some of us actually had to live through that. Hell, some of us have eyes and can see what teams like the Carolina Panthers and the New York Jets are going through now. Teams that consistently have top draft picks, but the Jets can't draft the franchise quarterback to save their lives. The Browns can't draft the franchise quarterback to save their lives. There's plenty of teams out there that is not easy to replace your quarterback. So when you have a guy, not arguably, that is at least a top 6 guy in the league, you build around him until that dude is too old and he can't perform like a top 6 guy in the league anymore. You build around him, you add pieces around him, and you get the right coaches in, unless you just truly get the evidence that this dude just ain't built to win in the playoffs like some of you are convinced. I'm sorry, I have not seen a playoff game where the Cowboys have had weapons on offense and everyone performed up to their standard except for the quarterback. I've seen games where the Cowboys have lost, where the quarterback may have looked bad, but everything around him looked bad as well, or it may have looked even worse, or the play calling was trash, or there was a bunch of boneheaded mistakes. I have not seen a single situation where I look at a game and was like, holy crap, Dak Prescott completely wrecked this game and there was no reason for the stuff that was happening to happen. So that's why my confidence is the way it is with this guy, especially when I can go and I can look at statistics like this that essentially evaluate a quarterback and their total impact on the game and how well they're playing their position. And the only guys that Dak Prescott is behind as it pertains to adjusted EPA per play are Aaron Rodgers, Tom Brady, and Patrick freaking Mahomes. These are the only guys playing the position better than Dak Prescott since 2016. And this is the guy you're trying to replace. Cowboys Nation, Cowboys fans, the Dak Attack Armada. We already have our quarterback. Quarterback is the last thing you need to worry about. Quarterback is a position that you need to tell the Joneses they need to extend this man yesterday. Quit playing with him. Why is Dak Prescott the only quarterback in Cowboys history that's been franchise tagged? And not only that, he's been franchise tagged twice. Why? I don't get it. I just don't get it. All right, but either way, you heard it yourself from yet another competitor of Dak Prescott, another defensive player that actually has to line up with Dak Prescott on the field. You heard it yourself. Dak Prescott is playing the quarterback position at a level that bringing in the next guy, starting a Trey Lance, having Sam Howell come in, you're instantly losing something, and you're losing a lot of something. That's all I'm going to say, all right? Either way, appreciate you guys tuning in. Let me know what you think down in the comments below. We speak. Same old damn Cowboys.
Calling me, texting me, paging me, asking me, am I still them boy? Y'all usually check on me. Listen. I'm still them boys.